It's like literally last minute stuff. I gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying to be more boundaries oriented.
Hmm.
Just like, okay, it's nice to make money, but there's certain things where I'd rather just be doing. I'd rather have some time to myself,
Oh, absolutely,
you know.
absolutely. Work-life balance is important, even in our industry, right?
Yeah, I got this like doc client, and if that picks up, I can totally clear out a lot of the other weekday jobs.
Hmm.
I'd be able to just go a couple of days a week doing that. Gonna try to get a grant for it. I'm doing a series of short docs for Hark Inc., who does services with people with learning disabilities in Hartford.
Oh, cool.
So this month we're just going through to try to get like a pretty sizable grant to do like a series of docs over the next 2 years.
Really
So
cool.
yeah. So it should be cool. I'm excited. If that goes through, that could be like a whole thing for me. I'm trying to like make that my main bag is just do docs and not have to do mostly it's just a handful of commercials and docs and that's it. That's like my life goal right now.
Can you tell us just a little bit about the project you were just doing and the nature of like the quick breakdown and getting ready for it? Tell us about how your day's going.
This is Alessandro Andriulli here, and I am a filmmaker, and I'm also the events co-chair for the Connecticut Film and Television Alliance. And currently, I'm working on a project for Hark Inc. in Hartford. I'm doing a series of short documentary films that we produce over the next 2 years about their clients. What I'm trying to do is I asked them basically like, what are things that you guys have as challenges right now? And there's definitely a lot of advocacy things that they wanted to cover, but the first thing we're doing is job placement for people with learning disabilities. And so the first series of films is really about showcasing people that are capable and are awesome and what they can do and the kind of energy they bring to your workplace. And I'm driving, so this is exciting. Adds a little energy to the show.
Absolutely.
I think that's just the nature of our work. We caught you on a time frame that was just getting busy for you. So when you gotta go, sometimes you gotta go.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Can you tell us about some of your other work that you're currently doing, or some of your projects you were mentioning that you're currently doing a lot more narrative?
Well, yeah, I was doing I just got off doing a social gig for a horse ranch, but uh, right now it's mainly the doc projects. Like I'm trying to do more. I really want to do docu-series. I had a friend of mine that did a documentary, or actually one of our board members, Horacio, from the board of for the Film and Television Alliance. He works over at Yale as well, and he did a documentary with one of his friends going across America, essentially asking people like, "What does it mean to be American?" And it was during
Mm.
COVID when travel was really challenging, and so essentially they just went into conservative households, into liberal households, and they just hung out with people that broke bread and just asked them a simple question: "What does it mean to be American?" And I'm gonna try to hopefully get something going with that. I want to do more things with that. I'm trying to I'm not kind of a creative agitator, instigator. So I try to get people to do more. I think that's such an important film. Maybe get more eyes on that particular film would be great. But my projects mainly just docs and commercials, and then trying to do more projects. I have a gallery show in May at Hartford Art Space in Hartford, Connecticut, near the train station. They're essentially it's called Transformation: Finding Art Through Trauma, and it's about people that have gone through traumatic incidents in their life, mental health things, and they put that into their art as a point of healing. And so I have my project Open Letter that I made based on my trauma. And it's a visual poem project, which I worked with a dance company called Studio 860 for that.
Very cool. How did you work with the studio? Did they like help come up with the choreography and like how you would um convey that?
Yeah, so I had a friend who's got a band called The Lost Tribe, Jocelyn Pleasant. I used to live in an art co-op in Middletown, and she lived there as well. She had actually made a documentary called Dysphoria Stories, and about people that have been displaced and then kind of migrated their music from other countries to America. And so they were showing that documentary at Studio 860, and at the time I was looking to do a visual poem, looking for dancers, and I didn't realize I was even at a dance studio until I got there and met the owners. And we just chatted. I went on their website. I saw the kind of stuff they were doing. It's hip hop meets ballet, very story oriented performance. very emotional stuff, very beautiful and amazing. Like they actually do everything from working with high school kids and elementary school kids to working with Hartford Stage and the Alvin Alley Dance Company, and they also
Mhm.
compete nationally. And so I just approached them for a meeting. I performed my poem for them and told them my concept. Immediately, they got it. I knew they were going to get it from our initial conversation. We vibed really well, and we spent like 3 or 4 months choreographing with a dancer named Deshawn, and it was just amazing. It was amazing. We did crowdfunding for that. I think it was about a $2,000 budget, but it was a passion project. It wasn't meant to be a financial project. But it was, yeah, I'd gone through trauma as a kid, and then I made this poem as a way to have some sort of a catharsis. And then as I became more of a cinematographer, I decided I wanted to do it as a visual poem. So we shot it at the studio, and now we're going to be premiering it at Hartford Art Space as part of Transformation.
Very cool. Very cool. How often did you guys choreograph? Like how many times a week, and like what did that look like for you? Where I think I saw you in a vest a lot, right?
Yeah, I had like a Steadicam vest that I was doing. It's there's a thing called a ZG, and a ZG is basically a gimbal with no motors. It's basically it just balances. And so
Mm-hmm.
you would use an arm and vest system that you'd use for a Steadicam, and you put the ZG on there and balance it, and now it's like weightless, and you can do handheld with a arm and vest system. But I just did it with my gimbal. I don't know when the ZGs are like I don't know like $12,000, and I just took my RS3 Pro,
Yeah.
balanced it, and then unlocked all the all the axes, and turned off the motors, and so I could freely kind of manipulate the camera in handheld without having to hold all the weight the whole time, which may be a bit able to be more fluid when following the dancer and his performance.
That's so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you happen to have any footage of that? Of like you getting that together? Are you doing any behind the
Yeah, yeah.
scenes stuff?
I had my project on Seed and Sparks. If you look up Open Letter on Seed and Spark, I can actually send you the link or even send you some clips and stuff.
Would you mind if we utilized any of that footage here to like kind of like
Yeah,
go
yeah,
over what
absolutely.
you're talking about? That'd be really neat to share that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got like, the promotional video and some BTS stuff, and I shot a little bit on my phone and some on my Black Magic when I was shooting some of their dance sessions, and at the studio itself. And yeah, I got all that stuff. I could definitely share with you guys.
That'd be sick. Mike, have you ever shot any dancing? I know you've done a lot more physical stuff than I have.
Yeah, yeah. I used to when I worked in Connecticut a lot. I used to do a lot of dance, like recitals. I used to shoot a lot of dance that way. But I also did a lot of projects that were stage productions that involved dance as well. A lot of work for Hartford Stage and Long Wharf Theater, and so
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. I definitely have
Cool,
a little bit
man.
of theater stuff in my repertoire there. Haven't done a lot recently, but like maybe like 5 6 years ago, I used to do a lot of that.
Awesome. That's so
Did
cool.
you ever did you ever have the opportunity to do some sort of like steady camera movement on the stage with the dance companies, Mike, when you were
I
at
wish.
either of those places? No?
I wish usually it was a setup like a tripod with a long lens for the B-roll stuff.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
no,
It's
but yeah,
important. It's
that'd be
important
really
stuff.
great. Yeah, to do that kind of stuff.
So nothing like Birdman then.
No, no, not like Birdman.
I love that movie. We should just do a breakdown of Birdman one day. I feel like it was too forgotten about already. I love that movie.
Oh yeah,
I think that's my next thing I want to do is just get a steady cam and like master that. You see how beautiful that movement is, and work with a first aid like a focus puller and work with a
Hmm.
steady cam. Like that just sounds like such a dream to do.
yeah, oh yeah. Just being able to focus on the movement of the camera and not have to worry about the other focus and all that stuff for sure. Getting like just the movement,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
I think it just fascinates me how people kind of get into that role because the equipment's so expensive, and if you don't have much experience in it in the first place, it's not like many people are going to give you a shot to do it. So I find it fascinating people who are like younger than us, who are like really like in high end productions. Like, how did you get there? How did that even happen?
It's like that long work, man. You put the like 3 years of practice opping, and you go. There's some places like in California and I believe in Maine where they're like American cinematographer programs specifically to kind of get you to that level. I know
Ooh,
we have
awesome
like
stuff.
one like film camera rental house in the state, but like it doesn't get a lot of action these days because everybody's shooting on digital.
Very interesting. I might just move to Maine for a couple months. See,
There you go.
Mike, we'll have to take the podcast off for a bit. I'll be gone for a couple months. We'll have to take a summer or something. I don't know.
Yep.
I definitely don't want to let this time go by, Alessandro, without asking you a little bit more about the Connecticut Film and Television Alliance. I was wondering if you could just give us a little bit of an overview on that and what some of the work that you have been doing with it.
Sure. So the Connecticut Film and Television Alliance is a nonprofit. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. They're about 2 years old. We have currently a little over 600 members. The board members are folks that are filmmakers with production companies that are making projects here in Connecticut, specifically Jonathan Black and his company, Chair 10 Productions. They've been making multi-million-dollar films. Him and his wife, Lauren, moved their production company specifically from Los Angeles to Connecticut in order to be able to live here and be closer to family and work here and to help ensure stability for our tax incentives. So that's really what we're about. We're like about education, agitating growth, working with our legislators to make sure that the tax incentives are an even playing field for everybody that wants to utilize them. We go to our legislative sessions whenever they're thinking of cutting our tax incentives or adjusting them. It's their last time testifying with everybody for like 13 hours straight.
Wow.
And our legislators our legislators don't really take like bathroom breaks or food breaks. They're just there all day long working. So like shout out to them for the longevity and all the work that they put in to keep everything in place. And so yeah, we're just trying to make sure that they understand and they asked us specifically, what would it take? Like what's the actual long view of how long would it take to actually get us to the point where we can get sound stages and rental houses and what do we need and all that. And we had a gentleman come and testify and saying that if we keep the pace we are and keep our tax incentives at 30%, within 3 to 5 years, we will have rental houses and sound stages and you'll see a bigger explosion of growth. We do have ITV America and a lot of other brick and mortar places, but essentially what I did is I've been out of things in film and television for a long time, for about 10 years. I used to do an event called the Film Industry Mixer, and we did that for 8 years straight. And would spend thousands of hours and thousands of dollars every year for a single night event to put a spotlight on what Connecticut had to offer. And we bring organizations from New York and Massachusetts and Boston and Rhode Island and Connecticut and now Los Angeles. And, we bring everybody together and, inevitably the tax incentives would get reduced or our film training programs would get entirely cut because they're trying to balance the budget. So we're trying to just make sure there's consistency, there's education. We're doing a lot of educational workshops. As the new co-chair of the events committee, I'm going to be doing a lot of events with Real Artways. They're doing a $24 million expansion, so we're going to be partnering with them for events. We're doing events with Bridgeport Film Festival, Mystic Film Festival, Hartford's Got Talent, June. We're going to be doing some work with nonprofits like a horse rescue. So it's not just about film and television. It's also about raising funds and awareness for nonprofits while we're doing our events. Be a part of the community we want to be a part of. So that's really what I'm encouraging, along with kind of making giving a reason for our members to stay members, that there's some sort of incentive as far as the educational workshops we provide and keep them engaged.
That's
awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah. I'm excited to hear about some of these events too. Do you have any dates for any of these upcoming things that are going down? I'd love to go to some of them.
I'd have to send you the dates, but I believe it's June. I want to say June 17th or 15th is Hartford's Got Talent. And we're going to add an educational portion to the pre-show for that. And Joe Young is actually a new board member of ours. So that's really great. He's amazing. I actually associate produced a film for him years ago called Diamond Rough. We shot in Hartford. We had Felicia Snook Pearson from The Wire, and we had a whole bunch of different celebrities. We had Scott Haney in it. We had it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had it's like a 15-foot tall Trojan horse inside of a Bank of America. So that was pretty fun.
That's so sick. That's so cool. Look at you guys. You're bringing Trojan horses to Connecticut. We need this kind of thing. That's exactly
it was like the bank robbers pretending it was like a bank promotion, and they came out the back of the horse dressed as Trojans and robbed the bank. It was
wow.
Yeah.
Clever. That's awesome. How can individual filmmakers get more involved with the Connecticut Film and Television Alliance?
So they can go to ftva.org. and basically you can sign up and become a member. It's free.
Hmm.
Right now we have a member benefit, which is if you are an independent contractor, you for $25 a month you can get comprehensive health care insurance for 25 bucks a month as an independent contractor. So we're offering that as an incentive for members. And all the workshops we have. So if you join, you'll get our newsletter, all upcoming events. You'll find out about all the things we're up to and all the different educational workshops we're working on. And also, I'm looking for new committee members. I'm just starting to build my events committee. I have a few members currently, so I'm looking for people to submit to the events committee. We have people with the education committee. We have the political action committee. So, uh, submit a resume and say, if you're interested. It is a regular interview process. It's not just I'm interested, I jump in. It's really about are you the right fit? It's more about do you have the right temperament? Are you going to be patient with our legislators and kind to our legislators? Are you going to be a good communicator? Are you available? And not somebody who just has enthusiasm and then pops out, but somebody who's there for the long term to really make impact and has the time to do so.
So, Alessandro, I had one question. As a person who does video production work, not I don't live in Connecticut. I'm in Massachusetts, but I'm very
Sure.
close to Connecticut, and I come to do a lot of work in Connecticut myself. So, is there other ways for people out of state to get involved as well as like becoming members possibly and that sort of thing as well?
It is mainly a Connecticut thing, but I mean, being supportive of what we're doing and letting people know that, our legislators know that this is important. We want to bring more production work to Connecticut. There is a lot right now, and we are growing, and we're looking to mainly bring people into the union so that we can really have, a reason to have a union specifically for production in Connecticut. So it's mainly a Connecticut thing, but it's still great to like network, come down, meet everybody, even if you're not from Connecticut. We have a lot of production houses that come and do projects here in Connecticut, so we do welcome that. But as far as membership, I definitely would say it's for people that are Connecticut residents. But attending events, like you can technically join since it's free and get the newsletter, even if you're not from Connecticut. If you're close enough and you want to travel over and just keep on in the know, I don't think anybody's gonna like say, "Oh, are you living in Connecticut? Or are you living?" They might
I mean,
ask it there.
I can throw a rock and I'll hit Connecticut. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
but I would
pretty
say
close.
definitely join our Facebook group as well. Keep up on what's happening. Come down, meet some folks.
Cool. Yeah.
There's plenty of networking opportunities and opportunities to find work, which is really
Absolutely.
important. And we're really just trying to build up our industry to the point where we can be competitive. And there's enough work for people to be able to do this full time. Join the unions, afford to join the unions. With the union fees and all that. I mean, we had IATSE and SAG at our event in November, so they're super supportive of what we're doing. We had the lawyer for the Motion Picture Association actually testified on Connecticut's behalf to keep our tax incentives at 30% during the legislative session. So we have some really big players that are on our side.
That's great. Yeah.
And it really just means that our leadership has to kind of say we planted the seed, continue to water it, and just leave it alone. And that everything will sprout, do just well. We are profitable, so we're just trying to make sure we hammer that message home and make sure we have enough visibility so people are aware and get involved.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's so neat. That's really cool. Where do you see the state of film in Connecticut moving forward in the next 5 years?
I mean, we have a lot of reality TV already with ITV America. We already have a lot of reality TV with them. And right now, because of during COVID, everybody's appetite for, consuming content for streaming went up exponentially. A lot more people binge content. And because of that, that hasn't, really hasn't changed. The market has become more competitive because of that. And a lot of states can now open up studios and do content regularly because all the major streamers need a regular, stream of new content and docuseries and TV shows and movies and all that. So I see it going, really us becoming like our own little version of Georgia. I think that's totally feasible. There's a lot of celebrities that live here in Connecticut already. So I feel it's going to be more television, more film work, more streaming content. We don't have a Netflix studio or anything like that, but I think that's totally possible to get a studio with, Amazon Prime or Disney Plus. I think, or Tubi. We do a lot of work. A lot of Tubi programming gets shot in Connecticut. So I think it looks bright as long as our tax incentives hold. Otherwise, we're going to lose that competitive edge. And because we are also the new home of national soccer, along with WWE and all that stuff. So
Very cool.
that's a huge thing. And as long as they keep the tax incentives where it is, and they don't take that for granted that we
Mm-hmm.
are the new home for that, I think that we'll be fine, and we'll continue to do some great work here.
And do you see this spreading beyond just Stanford? Do you think any opportunity lies in other parts of the state?
Stanford's just a great place because it's closer to New York, right? So like,
Yeah.
I think it's just easier for travel, and they have a lot of infrastructure and studio space there already. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we are looking at some studios near Bradley and some other studio space around Connecticut. So
Wow.
there are some other places along with us trying to get a studio built at UConn.
Oh,
Oh
cool.
wow, really?
Yeah, so we're working directly with them to try to encourage. Everybody seems to be on board, but we'll see where that goes. But that's what we're trying to do, is get a studio built at UConn so that we can not only film production there, but also train their students and then put them
There you
right to
go.
work.
Yeah.
Mike, we should talk to Quinnipiac. What's
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
with them? They're trying to be leaders in film.
We had Roger Clark, who's the lead voice actor for Red Dead Redemption 2. He teaches there, and he was at our event in November. And so he teaches motion capture performance at Quinnipiac. So
Wow.
we definitely have already had conversations with them, and we're going to be
Very
working
cool.
with all of our universities and film programs to figure out how to best service them and what a good roadmap forward would be, and just what do they need. We had CT State, we had Quinnipiac, we had UConn. So my thought would be to do some sort of a growth agitation event where we bring in distributors and newer production companies from Connecticut into one space and have them ask each other, what do you need? You
Mhm.
know, and ask them directly from an event space, like, what would you guys need? What would you want to have at an event? And also
Yeah.
asking those distributors, what are they looking for? And be able to have those conversations started so you can create a direct pipeline for the distributors through the production companies that are here, and the distributors getting connected with, or the production companies getting directly connected with distributors, and really agitating more growth and more production that way by just creating things that are very directly needed,
Yeah.
and then having very direct conversations.
Very cool. That's
Awesome.
exciting. But Alessandro, it's been so great to have you and hear about this, and so
Thank
exciting
you.
to hear about things that are coming to Connecticut, and also, with our neighbors in Massachusetts as well. But is there anything else you want to share before we head out today about the Film Alliance, or anything else that you'd like to just share in general about your work?
I just want to let people know that as long as our tax incentives hold, the future is bright. I think it's a lot. Joining the alliance means that you're not doing this alone. I met some of the kids over at the Connecticut Media Summit, and it's a bunch of UConn kids doing these workshops and meeting with real distributors and doing like mock projects for them and pitching them to learn how to actually pitch and put together a project professionally, and just see how they would do in that kind of environment. And I met with these kids and I was talking to them and I said, you really should join the alliance, because your journey into this career and through this career is going to be extraordinarily challenging, and becoming part of a community like the alliance that give you support makes that journey less shitty.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's my bread and butter piece of advice there.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Well, I'm can't wait to hear more about it, and can't wait to share any information. Please let us know about any upcoming events or any posts that we could share on our Instagrams with the communities. But thank you again for being with us today, especially on the road. Thank you for risking your life out there. And please, we'd love to have you back any other time about any upcoming events or anything that's going on with the Connecticut Film and Television Alliance.
Yeah, thank you, Alessandro.
Thank you guys both so much, really.
Really neat to hear all that though, with everything going on in Connecticut, and it gives me a lot of hope. And you know what, I always kind of think, like, with where technology is nowadays, it's like there's no excuse for these things not to be able to be done everywhere.
Absolutely. And I think that was a good point that Alessandro had, where the tax incentive is the big draw for from the financial aspect of filmmaking, which is it always has to be considered, right? Like, we're the creatives and we love the aesthetics and all that. But you got to know that there's got to be money behind it. Obviously, we need to eat, people that are employed. And what Alessandro is doing with the CT Film and Television Alliance is really going to help keep companies coming to Connecticut for producing film and television, and I think that that's just like so great that there's that organization there, and also the fact that they're helping out their community too, like not just doing film related stuff all the time, like also helping out nonprofits. I think that's really cool too.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's cool. I think it's a really interesting way to partner with the community and kind of show like what we're made of, like we're here to stay kind of thing, but it's also like, hey, we are willing to be part of the state as well and take part in things that are going on that'll better the community. But yeah, hopefully some things pan out. Maybe you'll have to move to Connecticut. I don't know. Might have to hang out all the time. Gabe,
move on over the border.
Yeah, you should come on down, Mike. It's good down here. It's warmer, I swear.
Water's
south. He gave me an idea, though. Maybe I was thinking would be kind of cool if we took a field trip to Quinnipiac one day for like a live podcast. Go check out the studio.
Sick. I'm sure we could probably conch life into letting us use the communication studio for
yeah. Well, they have a great podcast studio, but I think it'd be cool if you
do they have a podcast studio there?
They have a podcast studio.
Holy
I think
shit,
we should take a little tour. We should get a gimbal. You and I just run around the place and just mic ourselves up and maybe go with some, like maybe if any of our teachers are still there, we can get them to give us a little bit of a one-on-one and walk through the new studio and be like, wow, look what we're missing out on. But but I don't know. Just
you guys heard it here first. We're doing that as an episode at some point. We'll definitely have to do that.
It's happening. It's happening.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this episode of Capture Scratch Podcast. Feel free to follow us on Instagram. Well, us as in Joey and I, we always just post about the show there, but you can see the show on YouTube and on Spotify. So definitely check us out, whether you're listening or you're watching. We're hoping you enjoy the content. See you guys later.
Thanks so much.